All right, so there's a businessman. He's got his suit on, he's got his briefcase. He's on his way to a very important meeting, walking down the street in New York City. If you've been to New York City before, you know that there's gentlemen trying to shine your shoes on every block, if not more than one. He's walking down the street. Sir, excuse me. Let me shine them shoes. They look a little beat up. No, I'm in a hurry. I got to get to this meeting. Keeps on walking, he gets to the next block. Another guy's like, hey, sir, I'm going to give you the best deal. Let me shine up those shoes. You're looking real slick, but your shoes are looking a little rough. No. I'm in a hurry. I have to get to this meeting. He walks to the next block, and behind his ear he hears 98, 99, 100. And this guy grabs his shoulder, and he turns around, and the guy says, please, sir, don't walk off yet. Today is my birthday, and every year on my birthday, I pick the 100th gentleman that I see that's a businessman, and I shine his shoes for free. Please don't rob my blessing. It'll take a couple moments. Let me do this for you. I used to be on the streets, and now God's completely restored me, and I have an opportunity to work and take care of my family. He says, you know what? I got a couple minutes for you. He shines his shoes. He makes them look nice. Businessman gets up. He reaches in his pocket, and he ends up giving the guy 4 times what he would have charged. Typically, get to shine your shoes shined. So then he walks off, feeling good about the thing he just did. In the back of his ear, he hears 98, 99, 100. So what that man did is he created opportunity. Here's the thing about being a roofing entrepreneur, or just an entrepreneur in general. Entrepreneurs find out what's working quickly and apply it. And they try lots of different things. Which means if you're trying lots of different things, there's also going to be failure. But entrepreneurs fail their way to success. When I was in the roofing industry, and I still am, in a different market in Colorado, it was a tough market. And roofers didn't really collaborate and interact with one another. They definitely didn't share where you could find the good damage at. They definitely weren't willing to help each other out. I saw an opportunity. Well, when I moved to the Texas market, I'll never forget, I was sitting at a stoplight, and another roofer pulled up in a pickup. Our windows were rolled down. He said, hey, man, how's this storm treating you? I was like, I just got here. I'm still looking around. He goes, the good hail's over here. He goes, if you want to follow me to this gas station, I'm going to get gas, and I'll show you right where it's at. And he was just so willing to help me. And a light went off in my head. And I realized that there was an opportunity to work and help other roofers and to collaborate with one another. So we started putting the things for roofers helping roofers together. It's an opportunity to celebrate wins with one another. It's an opportunity for us to work together to achieve the same thing. I get asked this question everywhere I go all the time. 2 questions. 1, what is roofers helping roofers? And 2 is how do I get into commercial roofing sales? I get asked that everywhere that I go. So what is roofers helping roofers? Roofers helping roofers can be a multitude of things. I have a phone up here because I spent a lot of time just answering questions. This niche is not always for monetary compensation. It was created because I generally have a passion and a heart for this industry. I'll get phone calls and FaceTime videos with guys that aren't real familiar with commercial that'll be up on low slope roofs or even pitched roofs asking me questions, how they should attack what it is that they're trying to get done. I may pass them along to somebody or just help them out any way that I can. I'll get calls from individuals that are just going through hard times and they know some of my backstory and recovery, and they'll just talk to me about it and ask me how I got through certain things. I'll have it where we'll do workshops for different companies. And we'll have companies that are 80% residential and 20% commercial and are just looking to get catapulted into the commercial game. We'll have talks with them and vet them and see if they're a sustainable business that could handle spending the dollars without seeing any return for a little while. You always hear me say, hurry up and wait. We also have other contractors and roofing companies. They're some of the largest in the industry, some of the titans that have had huge developed commercial divisions that are just looking for us to come in and do complete turnkey applications at the lowest price point. So there's a multitude of different ways, but all of our value that we've done, we've been giving it away for free. If you have an opportunity to watch me online, we do a Gary V model. What we do is document what I'm actually doing and give it to the industry at no charge to bring value to them, because we generally want to help them. In that, it has formed the Roofers Helping Roofers, which has become a win-win, where we've had the ability to work with a ton of different companies on a national level. You know, another way that we can be used, if we go back to that 80-20 type company that are really looking to get into commercial, which is pretty heavy on what you're gonna see. You know, there's a lot more residential roofing contractors than there are commercial contractors. They don't know where to start. So it could be something like having me go out on the job site with them, putting on their shirt, showing them how I do what I do when I'm gathering data, taking pictures, what it is that I'm looking for, meet with their actual client with them, help them try to close the deal and get everything put together. I'll put together our turnkey proposal that'll be a line item, comprehensive scope of work. It'll have material data sheets, manufacturer specifications, sample warranties, and I'll get that to them where all they have to do is change the logo and then adjust the price that's gonna work for them. And then they'll ask me, what does that price point need to be to make sure that I can achieve this deal? Because we don't wanna burn time, even though that they're learning. But my goal in that with those companies is to duplicate myself within them, because then they'll come to a place where they already know what I need and they're just submitting me over stuff to turn out turnkey proposals to them, or they're developing their own internal stuff and maybe hiring their own guys within to actually do the applications or the installations. So there's a lot of different moving parts to it, but it can help pretty much any type of contractor looking at the commercial, no matter where he's actually at in the stage of the game. We also have some of the titans in the industry, as I said before. These are guys that are doing millions of dollars on an annual basis already, and don't need me to come in there and train their guys. They don't need me to show them how I sell. They don't need me to help them nail down deals. They don't need any workshops unless they're bringing in new guys and maybe wanting to make them a little more dangerous in the foam and fluids, and that's what I'm known for. But what they do need is they need somebody they can count on a national level that they can turn the jobs over to as a turnkey that's gonna do a quality of job that they want, and that's gonna keep in their mind that I have to leave the meat on the bone for them because they have to be making majority of the profits on this, and that the job's gonna get done the way they want it done, as far as scheduling, as far as expectations with the customer. So that's how it works. What I wanted to do is use a couple case studies to give you an idea. This first one here is with Select Construction out of Fort Worth. Those guys have been nominated the last 2 years for top growth. They fit right in that category where they were 80% residential and 20% commercial, really wanting to be catapult and had the desire to be commercial contractors as well. They had an opportunity to take a look at this building. I don't know if any of you have ever had Mission tortillas or Mission tortilla chips, but this was the Mission Foods building. It was approximately 250,000 square feet. It had 2/3 of it a built-up gravel ballast system, and the other third of it was 2 layers of single ply. They had never looked at anything of this size before and weren't really equipped to attack that, but they had a good in, so it was a hot lead for them. So I played a lot of different roles in that. I ended up talking to the building engineer and going after multiple different systems. In my opinion on this one, a fluid applied restoration with it being industrial was the way to go. The building engineer even agreed with me, but the decision maker wanted nothing to do with that. Usually you can find that because they had a poor experience with fluid or foam. So they were dead set on single ply, but they did not want to pay for removing and replacing it because the cost was just going to be too high on something that large. So I ended up working with the building engineer. I helped them close that deal. I put together the proposal that ended up being selected and awarded, and we went with a layover. We had to vac off the built-up gravel ballast, mechanically fasten some ISO, mechanically fasten some single ply, remove the top layer single ply on the membrane portion, lay down some ISO, and install some new single ply TPO as well. And then Select Construction actually did an interior remodel. They had to remove all this industrial work to go ahead and get what you see is the completed after photo right there, which came with the CSL or Carlisle manufacturer 20-year NDL. They learn so much on that, working with me on it, being out there, spending time on their jobs, that they've actually done several 100,000 square foot projects since that actual project. Let's look at another case study. This one's Northwest Roofing, one of the largest roofing contractors in Colorado. They have commercials so dialed in that they're doing large projects on a national level. They didn't need me to teach them anything. What they needed from me was one specific product, and that was foam and fluids. But it really came down to a price point. They have what they use is a raving fan culture. These guys take care of their clients like nothing else that I've ever seen. They have specific price points that they have to meet. This one was in Arizona. It was 80 buildings. They asked me to come in and evaluate just the low slope that was a pre-existing foam system. Just the low slopes there were about 120,000 square foot. They were in competition with the largest foam applicator that was local. So we had to make sure that we could come into the price point where they were able to procure that contract and still make sure that they were hitting their numbers and their values that they needed to hit. The other thing is they are very strict on how they want production done. I know when we went out there, I had to sit in on meetings that they had orchestrated on how the scheduling was gonna go, the do's and the don'ts, what was expected of us, timelines that we had to hit, daily project reports that were going into their CRM. I mean, they were moving like absolute clockwork. So there's an example of one of the titans in the industry and working with them. So you can see how it works on different scales. I have basically taken these 4 key components, and it's what's helped me be successful. And it's one of the things that I consistently drive home, and I think it's what really makes roofers helping roofers work. And it's one of the things that I like to give as value to everybody so they can implement it in their business, whether they're working with me or not. I don't care. But these things will help you be sustainable, and they're going to help you in commercial contracting. The first one is know your client. Who are you selling to? What are their needs? A very good way to draw that from your client so that you understand what it is that you need to prepare for them is I like to ask them, what are you looking for in the contractor that you're going to award this contract to? They're going to tell you whether it's warranty duration. They're going to tell you if it's full replacement. They're going to tell you if it's layover. They're going to tell you if they want to go chemical roofing so they can take care of tax advantages and writing everything off in a year, or Energy Star rated acrylic coating tax advantages, or any other type of coating tax advantages. They're going to tell you exactly what they're looking for. It may be timeline. It may be how they want the payment schedule to go. There's a lot of different things, but you need to know your client in order to know what it is that you're going to sell it that's going to make them happy and resolve the issue that they have at hand. And I say this all the time. I'm known in the industry for foam and fluids. It's my favorite roofing system, but it is not the solve-all for every roof. There is an efficient system for every client's investment. You have to dial into what that system is going to be. Moments ago, I just said it would have been good to go foam and fluid. Engineers said to go with it, but the decision maker spending the 7 figures on that roof wasn't having that. So we had to make sure that we were able to provide what it is that that individual needed. Know your craft. This one is so important. We're not talking about residential, and you're not going to get by pencil whipping individuals. You got to actually know what it is that you're selling. So what's some of the easiest ways to develop that? The first way is spend time on your jobs, or spend time on those in the industry that you know that will allow you out on their jobs and see how it's being installed, how it's being applicated. Maybe even if you have an opportunity, if we're talking about fluids, get behind one of the coating guns, get behind the foam guns, or you can do some classes on the TPO welders, or you can go bang some shingles. But you need to know every part of that system and what it is about that system that are the benefits to it and how it can resolve the issues. And what I call issues is the client needing a new roof because obviously it's failing or something's going on and you need to resolve that problem for it. We're really just kind of problem solvers. The other way to know your craft is to lean on distribution. Distribution and who you purchase your materials from should be a partnership. You should be able to lean on them. You can tell them what you're interested in. Maybe you say, I spoke with Jonathan Sherwood, or I saw him at a workshop and he told me to give you a call. Lunch and learns, free training, get the manufacturer reps into your office to teach workshops and small meetings on what it is products that you're actually looking to sell. Make sure your guys know what's going on with it. But it's important to know about these systems that you're selling. It's important to know your craft. The other one that you need to do is set expectations. This is very important. Being foam and fluid is my niche. Let's use that as an example. Water is your best friend in the beginning and your worst enemy once the project gets started. So if we have a 100,000 square foot roof and they got 40 leaks in it, every time it rains it's failing, and we're about to go up there with 4,000 PSI pressure washers and start cleaning that roof, what's going to happen to that failing roof? It's going to fail. So it might be sunny outside and there's leaks when they weren't planning to have leaks. They need to know these things. Now the other side of that coin is that's a different type of system. So we have to worry about moisture. We have to worry about the weather, the wind. So when you would have guys installing single ply or banging down shingles while it's nice outside, it might be super windy. They're wondering why you're not there on site and why you're starting at 10 because it's the fall, and you have to explain to them, your roof is frosty, it has some moisture on it, we have a high wind today, we can't spray. Your clients need to know exactly what to expect from you with what's going on with the project, how you're going to wrap it up, when they're going to receive their paid in full receipt, their lien waivers, their material warranties. They should know exactly what's going on all the time. There can't be any assumption that's going on with them. And that leads me to the last one here. And I feel with commercial, one of the most important. You hear me say hurry up and wait all the time. You have to slow down. I can remember when I first got into commercial roofing sales, people would ask me for a bid the next day or 2 days later, and I would just spend all this time getting everybody moving, trying to jam pack everything in within a day or two because I felt I had to have it on their desk. And then I soon realized that I may not hear back from them for 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half. And I learned that I could go to them and say, my turnaround times on proposals, depending on what time of year it is 5 to 10 days. I'm going to gather the data that I need today. I'm going to prepare a comprehensive line item scope of work. There's going to be material data sheets in it. There's going to be manufacturer specifications. There's going to be warranty samples. I'm going to produce some samples of the product that you're actually looking at. This is when you'll receive it. I'm going to meet with you and we'll go over it again. People are not typically making overnight decisions when we're talking about this kind of ticket price. Occasionally, you will get the home run and that will happen, but it does not happen very often. So we want to make sure that we slow down so we're doing things correctly, because the one thing you don't want to do is taste some liability because you made a mistake. Because if you're one of those guys that are just getting a commercial and you taste liability on the wrong project, that could be the end of your commercial division or even your company. And we're in business to make money, not to lose the money.